All right, good morning, top performers. It's an amazing day, and you're gonna enjoy today. It is all about beliefs, and before we start, wanted to just share with you some amazing things that are occurring that with our participants that. 2 weeks ago, so really after the first week of the process that all together, let's see, we got 2 new referral partners, we got 2 listings, 3 out of the blue transactions, uh, and then 6 deals. I mean, it's just been absolutely amazing on what you guys have created and just out of the blue. And it literally, the process works this way every time. And because people are really engaged in it and just doing what I ask them to do, and they're in a state of allowing, they're just being encompassed and immersed in these thoughts and these ideas, and they're just good, wholesome thoughts, and they're the truth about who you are. And you are a leading edge creator, and you wanted to come here on this planet Earth in order to create more joy and freedom and happiness and growth, and now you're really starting to get it. You were meant to have your dreams come true. And one of the reasons and why this week we're going to talk about beliefs is because we've actually been given some beliefs with all good intentions, but we've been given some beliefs that no longer serve us and really aren't the truth about us. And basically, beliefs are what's passed on from generation to generation. You know, you've heard the bad stuff about where, like, if a person, it comes from a family, an abused family, that they either are an abuser or become abused then in, the next family. And so that's the bad stuff, but actually the good stuff. So what you're learning, for those of you that have children or will have children, is you'll also be learning how to teach them to know that they're leading edge creators too, and they can have it all, and that they really don't need you per se. It is great to have you to show unconditional love to them, but they're just fine. But if you start teaching them to be guarded and don't take candy from strangers and all this other stuff, that what happens is that then they get nervous with strangers, and that's why most of us are nervous with strangers, because we have the belief, we were told the belief on don't talk to strangers, and then that belief, we were never untold that belief, that we basically were told that as when we were young, and when we were 18 or 21 or whatever, we didn't all of a sudden come and started being told that now it's okay to talk to strangers. If we wouldn't talk to strangers, and you wouldn't be on this line right now, you wouldn't be getting this valuable, inspiring, enlightening information, and you wouldn't have everything that you do have right now. That with other people, it's just amazing of what other people, that they spark new ideas. And so know this too, with other people, that other people can't make you feel bad. In fact, they can't make you feel any way. You have complete control. And so when you just look at people and start looking at positive aspects of people, that there's nothing but positive that you'll start seeing in other people. In fact, you even have the power to declare that you want to start seeing this person that you've never seen a positive aspect, like, let's say, being loving, showing emotion, being caring, being kind. And if you've never seen it from that person, that all you have to do is start thinking about how you want to see that, and you'll start seeing that, and even other people will start seeing that positive aspect that you're drawing out of that person, because everybody is alpha to the omega. So it's going to be an amazing time today. It's going to be enlightening. Just relax and just know that this information is going to just get into your mind, your heart, your soul, and just provide you the exact information. You're going to hear the exact words and thoughts and feelings that's going to just spark you to get to the next new level of the higher point of attraction, if you will, of attracting all the things that you desire. So today we're going to talk about belief. And we start out as most of us, being in this Christian, Judeo-Christian society, that most are Christians, and so thus the Bible is very influential. And so one of the quotes in the Bible is, "It is done unto you as you believe." And so, and that is true, that whatever your beliefs are, and we're going to get into beliefs, and I'm going to share with you some information about beliefs that you've never really understood before, and in a way to really help you understand on which beliefs do I now want to have about me, about my life, about my business, about my health, about my background, about my past. What beliefs do I want to believe in and serve and continue to think about, and then which beliefs no longer serve me. And so our agenda will be, and there we go, that we're going to look at what a belief is. And some of this was shared to you in the seminar, for those of you that were at the seminar, that some of this, but again, you're going to hear information that you haven't heard before. And then where do most of our beliefs come from? And to realize that, so it's done unto us as we believe, yet that most of our beliefs aren't our own. And we didn't create those beliefs, that we didn't go within us to get those beliefs and to our source. In fact, it's mainly from other people that we got our beliefs. So we're living really the life of other people's lives and what they believe. And that you now, in this moment, this day, is where you are going to start looking at what beliefs do I want to have about me, about other people, about my business, about all the different things that I have. And, and I want to share with you also that some other amazing things that have happened with us, and so let me just digress for a moment and say that we started at Success Unit 1, which in our first facilitation, which was being deliberate, being intentional, and living in the green zone. And so we recognize that there's 4 different areas, and 3 of those are red zones on things that we don't want to think about. Like, for example, thinking about what is, okay? And so we have a tendency to think about whatever's going on, and the more we think about whatever's going on in our lives right now, the more we're going to get of it, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. So if, for those of you that before we started maybe didn't have a thriving business, you can't be thinking about, gee, I don't have much business, because you'll just get more, not enough business. And so what we want to do is we want to live in that green zone and think about what will be. And we have those committee members, and we talked about those committee members in our mind, and that those fear and worry, and you'll see how that plays into beliefs. And just after a couple of weeks, like for example, one of our participants got 3 deals over $3 million this week. And so, like, that's the amazing things that happen that just come out of the blue, because there is only well-being that flows. And your source, God, knows everything that you want. It's just that you have not allowed it. And this beliefs will help you in order to understanding on how you can start allowing it. And we're going to go through that and look at where true beliefs are found. And then how life works. And we're going to go through the 5-step process on how life works and review on, out of those 5 steps, you only have to do 2 of those steps. And we've already covered the first step, and that is about our thought and about how we need to be really focused on thinking about what we want and what will be and what is working. And the best place in order to do that is the Joy Shop. And so I want you to just start really embracing that joy shop. And this morning I just was, Grace, so blessed that sitting on the porch and overlooking my beautiful forest and looking at the cloudy sky today. And, it was just magnificent. I felt so good. And I just wrote down, like, for example, I wrote down on how this was just going to be an amazing facilitation with all of us, an amazing webinar for all of us, and that, to just spark some new ideas with us. And so be looking for that and expecting that, because your expectation is so critical that if you aren't going to expect, like from this webinar, if you don't expect getting something just magnificent out of it, getting more than gold nuggets, getting a whole gold mine, if you will, of all the things that can start opening and having the heavens part for you, that when you expect that to happen, that it will. So I want you right now to expect that, what you're going to hear today is just going to be help you to get to a whole new place in your life that's going to open up even more opportunities. And like, I mentioned on that, the 3 deals over $3 million, that's simply about it really impacts about your belief on how you think, and then your belief allowing it in. And then we're going to review our ideal referral partnerships that you will see that. So I took a person that went through Top Performers in January. And that person basically didn't have any business in December at all, okay? And so they were selling, a house every couple months, whatever. Well, that person, after Top Performers, and then now is coaching one-on-one with me, that person is now, out of 400 agents at Ultimate Real Estate, is the number 2 agent and made more money last month than she did I think all of any year previously as far as income, and had literally millions of dollars worth of sales. And when I asked her on, where is her business, how is it flourishing like that, she has some SEO that she's doing, and then building an organization under that with some amazing leads, but she is getting the majority of her business, and her big business is coming from referral partners, and she didn't have or understand referral partners till now. And so now you're going to hear about, these ideal referral partners. And as you continue to just ask for, I want the ideal referral partners to come to me just out of the blue. And so we'll go over that process and that discussion today to help you with that. So let's get into some of the meat on this, and to understand, first of all, what is a belief? And so I'm going to invest some really quality time here on helping you to understand this first sentence. And beliefs are thoughts that you have had often enough until you turn them into thinking they are the truth, into thinking they are your truth. And so at this point, I want to bring up 2 concepts, and the first one is on momentum, and to talk about momentum and how you create momentum. And the second part is to understand that there is a path of least resistance that cooperative components make for you, and that path of least resistance, it can either be a path on, if you're thinking bad thoughts about something, someone, whatever, that it takes you and it'll give you cooperative components. You can prove anything to yourself. And so if you want to prove something negative, that, hey, I'm not good enough to have a thriving business, you will find all the proof that you need, because Source is going to bring you all the cooperative components, because when you ask, you shall receive. And so let's talk about this momentum, because you can also ask and have the path of least resistance to all of your desires. And remember when I've shared with you that when you go upstream, and most of us have struggled in our life, and that we thought it was difficult. We were told we needed to work hard. We were told that life's going to throw us, some bad stuff to us. It's not going to be good. It's going to be rough out there, and it's going to be tough. And we started to believe that, and so we started swimming upstream. And so swimming upstream is the opposite of the path of least resistance. What you want to do, and what you have been doing, and so evidence of all of the business that has flowed to you in the last couple of weeks, that just, out of the blue and more than you normally have, that why is that? And that is because you have stopped swimming upstream and with this struggle, and instead you have decided, you know what, I'm going to just let go. And if you read my encouragement this week, I call it let in. I'm going to just let it in and allow it in. And allow what in? Allow my source to guide me. That, remember, your job, your focus is only to think about what you want and why you want it. And then you need the supporting beliefs to allow it in. And why this week is so important to understand this step about beliefs and allowing. So what has happened is that before we met, that you were swimming to some degree upstream. And so it's difficult with maybe your health, maybe your relationships, maybe your business, whatever. And that what you have done in the last few weeks now is you have stopped the struggle and just feel the relief of that. Just breathe in and feel the relief of that. Is so nice to not be struggling in my life anymore. And that you started to then just stop the struggle, and you were kind of wading in the water, if you will, in the stream of abundance. And now you are starting to turn toward downstream and towards your desires. And as you do, you'll see you just turn, and just imagine yourself right now going from this big struggle going upstream to where you've just let go. And you just now turn and breathe in deeply and just start going downstream. Having the faith of God, knowing that all is well, and that all your desires are coming to you. And now as you are faced completely downstream, just close your eyes and imagine this, that this is a stream of abundance. And this is your lighted path. It's going to take you on your stream, going downstream and seeing where your desires are, and it's all low-hanging fruit. Imagine that you're just flowing downstream now and just picking off the low-hanging fruit, and it's all your desires, your good health, your good relationships, your magnetism. You are a magnet. And as you start going downstream, you're going to magnetize all of the things that you desire. And so as you go downstream, you just simply start plucking that fruit, that good health, that thriving business, that for some of you, that soul partner you've been looking for, that this downstream can cure any condition that you have physically, that people have had worked with me that have had cancer, people have worked with me that have, a dead end, whatever, marriage or looking for their soul partner or whatever it is, or looking for those millions of dollars, all of that money to powerfully flow into your experience. And when you have the belief of that money is the root of all evil, which most of you have been taught, that of course you're not going to get it. That's upstream. In fact, the lack of money is the root of all evil, and to just go downstream now and to realize that, wow, money is abundant. There's plenty of it, and money means to me more freedom, more choices, more variety. And I just love being able to serve people, and I love building my empire and my life and my real estate business and just start flowing downstream. So let me get into this momentum now. So when I think upon an idea, a subject, that within 1 minute, you're going to get at least the source. God is going to give you at least 4 ideas surrounding that. And so let me just, let's do business. And so business-wise, that I had someone else, another participant of ours, just said, oh, by the way, I received 2 out-of-the-blue referrals a day apart last week. One asked me for a home for her son and daughter-in-law. The one I already met with them, and they're going to be amazing clients with a great sphere of influence. And the other from a lender who had a prior client used to help one of their clients. I keep on seeing myself selling more, being more, having more. And that's exactly what those thoughts, so those thoughts of business, so think about your business and think, I just love having a thriving business. And so for those of you that can be, you want to be general enough to where you still feel good. But those of you that already have now discovered $1 million business, that say, I just love having $1 million business, or I love selling, closing 3 homes every month or 5 homes per month. And so as you start doing that, then here's some cooperative components, some cooperative thoughts that come is, I just love allowing over $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month. I was working with one agent that they were making, about $6,000 per month, and they're now making over $50,000 per month, and their goal is that they just love the idea of making over $100,000 per month. And again, if you have any thoughts that, are resistant to that, like, oh, that's too much work or whatever, that person doesn't work very much at all. In fact, that person, hey, Larry, welcome. So that person that that believes that they don't have that they can't have whatever that they'd have to work a lot, that then they're not going to be able to get that $100,000 a month or whatever that number is, whatever you want. But I can tell you this, that if you don't conceive it in your mind, it's impossible for your source to get it. So back to this momentum. So what happens when I think upon a subject, whether good or bad, I start building momentum on that. And so the next time, so let's say you thought about your business, how thriving it is, like we just did right now. I just love having $1 million business. I love closing at least 3 homes per month. I love having at least allowing at least $20,000 in my experience per month. That whatever, and you can use it on any subject. But you get that, and you think about it for 1 minute. You start the energy going in order to have that start being delivered to you like a bullet train from the heavens, okay? And that's why the Joy Shop, I recommend at least 15 minutes. Is in 15 minutes, you will have bullet trains. The heavens part, the bullet trains will come because of the energy. So back to this momentum. So I have this momentum about my big, powerful business. And tomorrow, when you think about your business, that you'll automatically have the path of least resistance to say, oh, yeah, I love having this thriving business. I love attracting clients out of the blue. I just love serving people. And see, I'm right now getting cooperative components of thoughts of the business that I didn't have when I first started with the 4 thoughts. So what happens is your source brings cooperative components of more thoughts to you, but then also more people, more experiences, and that's why we get 3 out of the blue referrals today, 3 buyers this week that is over $3 million, or why this week we get two out-of-the-blue referrals that is already a done deal and that is going to become a referral partner. And that's one of your referral partners, by the way, are your current clients or previous clients that you have. They become excellent referral partners where all you have to do is ask. Asking you will receive. If you don't ask for the referrals, if you don't ask that, hey, I'd like to help the people that you know, that you love, that you work with, that are your clients, that I'd love to help them the same way I helped you, that by saying that you will do. And this is all about the thriving business, okay? So all of these thoughts now have been sparked, and it proves on how that there is, and so there are cooperative components that rally around your thought. And when you have those big enough ingrained thoughts, they become a belief. And so you then have a belief about a subject, and so in this case, we just established now a new belief about our thriving business and how easy it is and how fun it is and how exciting it is. And that's how I want you to look at money, too, that instead of worrying or doubting it, that what you do is it's fun and exciting, and you start getting fired up over the fact that you can create whatever you want, that all the things that you want will come true for you as long as you just understand these principles. And so this unbelief, that just think of the beliefs that you have that are this path of least resistance that don't give you your desires. And so let me give you an example of that. If you have currently a physical condition that is hurting you. And so I had a client, for example, was in a car accident. They had severe pain in their neck. And when I met that client in my one-on-one coaching and platinum coaching program, that he said, he can't function regularly, and he'd really like some help. He'd been to all the doctors. And then he started complaining to me about his neck. And he went on, and it was the belief that his neck was really hurting. It was then cooperative components came about, and that he started telling me about, the pain even goes further down my back now, and that, it's gotten worse, and I go to all these different doctors, and I have a physical therapist, and I'm taking these pills, and nothing works. And what he has created is a path of least resistance right into a place that I would call hell. And so all of us have slipped up, if you will. Sin is, by the way, sin is just, back in Christ's term, it's just an archery term, meaning you're off target, okay? You didn't hit the bullseye. So in that thinking, what that person was doing was creating a path of least resistance and had this momentum going, and so had the belief that he would have chronic pain and not have a normal life the rest of his life. That all we did, and this is the power that you have with your thoughts, you can do this on anything, but using this one example, that I then started, so he shared with me all the things about how bad it was and how worse it's getting. And I said, great, that's what you don't want. And from now on, I want each of you to just think about when something happens that you don't like, that doesn't please you, that upsets you, that angers you, that you just simply say, this is what I don't want. Now I ask for Source to birth new thoughts on what I do want. And so with him, I shared with him, that's what you don't want, and he was somewhat startled over my response. He wanted me to be empathetic like his wife was, and his children and his friends. Oh, poor you about your neck. Sorry to hear about your neck. I'm not going to I'm not going to be one of those cooperative components in order to have him believe that he doesn't have the power in order to correct his neck pain. And so we started playing together, if you will, most would say working together. We started playing together, and I started asking him, what burst does this desire, does this circumstance, this contrast in your life, what does it birth? And he goes, I want better health. I want to lead a normal life. I want to be able to have a normal movement. I don't want, and I said, hold on, you can't say what you don't want, because then you're going to go right back into that hole. So I want to be free of this. Within 6 weeks, he had virtually no pain, and he didn't go to any. He stopped going to all his doctors, his physical therapist, his medical doctor, and everybody else, and he was able to overcome that. That's the power that you have. You can move mountains, but you have to believe that, and that's why this session is so critical for you to understand that it is done unto you as you believe. And so for you to recognize that I'm not going to believe in these old thoughts. You already have momentum going. You already have the path of least resistance that takes you down the path of believing it's the truth. And you can make your own truth about everything. And I can give you literally hundreds of examples of people that didn't like the contrast, believed that this contrast, a bad neck, a bad business, a bad relationship, whatever it was, and that literally anything that you could take and you could start turning that around. And so again, the analogy of that is, instead of going upstream with these beliefs that you have on, oh, I was brought up that way, and that's kind of the committee members going on, blaming and complaining about stuff. It doesn't matter what sex you are. It doesn't matter how much education you are. You don't have to take another class. You don't have to get another degree. You don't have to do any of that. All you need to do is do these principles here, and it's how life works. So beliefs are thoughts that you have had often enough until you turn them into thinking they are the truth. You own your own truth. There is no other truth. And so whatever that is, and again, some people, this ruffles their feathers, their beliefs, if you will. But if we were born in India, for those of you that are Christian or Jewish or whatever, you wouldn't be Christian or Jewish, okay? They were brought up with those beliefs, and then they turn to that religion because that's what they have. And I'm not fighting against anything. What I'm fighting for is for you and for your truth and for you to be liberated to understand that you create your own truth. And so you can create and just take away any resistant thoughts now and just say, this is what I want to create in my life. This is the health I want to create, the relationships I want to create, the business I want to create, all the good things that please you, that you want. You have lived long enough in this lifetime in order to understand on what you prefer and what you like. The only thing that's preventing you from having those things is your belief. You are not allowing it in. So I'm helping changing the way that you think, that then is going to start changing your beliefs, that then is going to put you in a position to receive all the things that you have ever wanted to receive. So most of our beliefs are not our own, yet it has been told to us, it is done unto us as we believe. It has been done unto you as you believe. So you control all the beliefs. But what really has happened, it's been done unto us as we have not wanted, but it's done unto us as others have wanted. So other people, our parents, our teachers, our educators, the society around us, that they decided on a certain belief. And so that belief, then they started saying, look it's true, it's real, that when you're in a car accident and you get your neck like that you can't get it healed, that you'll be in chronic pain the rest of your life. We've proven it. Well, proof is only the accumulation of our thoughts and our beliefs previously that make it into this solid form that we call reality. Your reality is what you create in your mind. And so think about, what I'm going to now create in my mind, I'm going to think about what will be, and that will then start creating the circumstances, the thoughts, people, circumstances, and events that are going to rally around you, and forces of a magnitude beyond your imagination are rallying on your behalf and wanting to help you to have everything that you want. Because you are the one that declares the truth, and you're the one that decides what's a belief and what isn't. And that, again, that belief is the path of least resistance, and the path that then takes you to either the things that you want, the momentum, it gives you the momentum going to what you want or what you don't want. Now, last word about momentum, or thoughts on momentum. So I want you to think about how you are the creator of momentum. And so when you've created enough momentum, often enough, it becomes your belief, your truth about any subject, about anything. And so what you want to do is you want to start having the momentum of the things that you do want, that will change your beliefs, because you'll start seeing that, well, it's real, that your reality becomes the things that you think about. And so as you do, you'll start getting momentum. So when, for example, you're in your joy shop and you're feeling good, that what I want you to do is to be thinking about milking it. So write that down, take notes on this, that I want to milk my positive momentum. So when you're feeling good, like when you feel God bumps, okay, just let those God bumps in, and let the source energy that makes worlds, creates worlds, let it flow through you, and just milk it. When you're feeling good, it can be, it doesn't have to be some world-changing, life-changing idea. It can be, I'm just enjoying sitting here petting my dog or my cat, and that you enjoy that, just milk it. Because by you doing that, that automatically, you're like a cork, and that cork, instead of being held underwater with these beliefs that no longer serve you, that what it is you just release. And can you imagine, feel it right now? Feel yourself just releasing yourself and just floating to the top right now, to the top of the water, to the top of the stream, and just start flowing down that. And to do that, and to get in that stream, and to go downstream where all your desires are, and to increase your point of attraction. As you increase and start thinking good thoughts, Source is going to help you reach to the next better feeling thought. I'm going to share with you an amazing story that happened to me just this week. That so I have, let's call it base income that I have, and then I have other that comes out of commissions and whatever. And so I was sitting there, and none of you know on this phone that right now I was actually in the emergency room a week ago Thursday, and had quote-unquote kind of emergency surgery on Saturday morning. I had a belly button hernia. And so I'll share two kind of funny stories about that. The first one is that why did I get a belly button hernia? And so I really don't spend too much. It's kind of contrast, if you will. But most of you have never heard of a belly button hernia. I never did, and didn't know what it was. And you guys didn't know that last week I was just out of an operation like 4 days after, and that I gave it, and I didn't even bring it up, okay, because I don't think about things that I don't want. But what did it do? Well, first of all, why did that happen? Well, every day I asked to become younger and younger. And so when I found out about this, belly button hernia and everything, that they said, yeah, normally babies have this belly button hernia. And I went, this is great. See, I asked for it to become younger and younger, and now I'm an infant. And I'm getting symptoms like an infant. And so it was just fun, okay? And so, anyways, I had to hang low. In fact, for 6 weeks, I can't lift anything over 10 pounds and, whatever. And I feel great, by the way. And it's just awesome. And so I was sitting there, and because I can't be out like, I normally am and everything. And so I just quietly and just calmly, in a very relaxed situation, and that's what I want you to do, is just get calm and relaxed. And it's ease. It's you gracefully getting and working with source as one with source. And so just easily getting in. And so I went and without any struggle, without any, just going downstream, and I said, I'd like to increase my income, my base income, just by sitting here and thinking about it. And I kind of giggled to myself, and I said, this is such fun. You just create it the way you want it. Like some people say, what do you want me to do? Just sit around and think? And pretty much so, yeah, think and feel. But you want to think good, and you want to feel good, and then you'll get what you want. So I discover a way that increased my base regular, income that I get per week, actually, by 30%. And I just started laughing and giggling and said, this is so cool, because it made me slow down this whole operation. So what did this, this belly button hernia do for me? That it helped me to birth new ideas. It was contrast of what I don't want. I don't want to be in pain in the emergency room. I don't want an operation. I don't want to sit for 6 weeks. And so all those things I don't want. So what did it birth? Well, it birthed me to have even a greater desire to have a long and healthy and happy and prosperous life. That's what it did. And then it also made me to slow down and to even think more. And then I was thinking, hey, what would I like? Oh, more money. It's just all fun. It's all easy. So I literally created 30% more income just by sitting around thinking about it and feeling it. And what Source did is it gave me that next thought, that next good feeling, and that then took me into the solution, that I don't want you ever to look at a problem anymore. I want you only to think about the solution, that I know that there's a solution. All things are possible. I know that for every piece of contrast, things I don't like that happens, that there is a solution, and it's going to birth my desires into even greater, more powerful desires and new desires that I never had before. And so how great is that, and how great we are. And that just is another real live example on how you can just emerge and become one with your source and have your source lead you to what you want. That's why you think about what you want and why you want it, feeling good, and then your source is going to give you that next better feeling thought, that next step to the solution, that next step to your desires, and give you those people, those circumstances, those events that are going to make it all happen for you. But you have to have the belief in what? In your source. You need to understand and believe that God does the how and will do it as long as you let it go. And so, and that is where how powerful these beliefs are. And you have the power to change any belief that you have. And the main way to not believe in something that you don't, that no longer serves you, is to just never think about it again. It will dissipate, and it will be overran with the things that you do want as you are thinking about the beliefs that do serve you and creating more beliefs. So let's look at, since your beliefs, you have the choice to have beliefs, but it is your beliefs that you've accepted as being the truth, and you have this momentum going to these and the path of least resistance to these beliefs. And that we know that, wow, whatever I do believe, that's what I'm going to end up receiving. And so then we discover, well, where did most of us get our beliefs from? And so they're upside down and all around. So from our parents, they believed that we were defenseless and we couldn't, do anything as a baby. When they brought us home, and that they brought us home, and boy, who ran the show? Like, if any of you have ever had a baby, who runs the household? The baby does. The baby is fine and powerful. But now if you start having resistant thoughts like, well, it can't even talk, it doesn't need to talk. In fact, you've picked up the vibration of your parents, and that's why things are a lot like, you are a lot like your mom and dad, whether you like it or not. And you said, when you were a teenager, I'm never going to be like you, and you ended up like them. I'm coaching with the person that they finally have confessed that they're an alcoholic. And then we started talking about that, and I help people, alcoholism, tobacco, drugs, whatever, and to get off it, because the one thing that you can get on and will light up your life is this oneness with your source. And that's what we're talking about here, is to allow your source to come in and to help guide you and support you and love you. And so he started telling me about his past, and he shared with me that his father drinks every day, has beers every day. But he started justifying, but my dad's good, he earned money, and he doesn't get real drunk, and, and I'm kind of that way too, but, I just stay away from my wife and my 2 young children that are at home. And I'm thinking, oh, the beauty that he's missing with not being with his children. And in fact, he said when he would pick up his baby, he'd look at his baby, and as he was looking in his baby's eyes, he felt such guilt because he wasn't around there. So he was vibrating guilt. You don't have to tell the baby, hey, I feel guilty, that he's vibrating guilt. Well, the same it's going to happen if he doesn't stop it in this generation, that baby he's holding will be telling me or somebody else in, 30, 40 years that, hey, well, I'm just drinking some beers. And because we pick up the vibrations and we pick up the beliefs of our parents, and then our teachers have taught us how it is. And I always like using the example, at one point, teachers were saying that the, earth was flat. Well, that's not true. And again, these sources, I mean, it's for all good intentions, but they're not your beliefs, and it's not your truth, and doesn't have to be your truth. The news, and again, I would encourage all of you, turn off the TV. Don't be watching any TV, especially the news. That if you're watching something that makes you laugh, that's amusing, that's fun, great. If you're getting all tense about it and everything, that just keeps you away from your source, because your source is free flowing, and that's how you want to be free flowing, and that way you're in the stream of abundance. And so to stay away from that, because see, there you're not controlling. What you're doing is you turn on that TV and you allow the TV and what they're saying to impact your emotions. And so you will be negatively vibrating. Why? Because it's negative news. That there's people that got killed and shot and, all kinds of terrible things, and burglarized, and, all kinds of stuff. And if you look at that, you're going to start attracting it into your life, because whatever you think about, you attract. So you just want to stay away from that. Your committee. And now, again, in success, in our first facilitation, Success Unit 1, we talked about your committee. And that you have this little committee going around here that's mainly led by the judge and fear. And so you got this fear and worry and doubt. I wonder how I'm going to do something. Never ask yourself that again. It's not your business about how you're going to do it. You just say, hey, these are the things that I want. I want good health. I want a thriving business. I want to have 3 or more homes per month sold. I want to increase my love relationships. I want to have deep, meaningful relationships with everyone that I have. But if you keep on thinking, resistant, having beliefs, and so I'll give you an example of my poor wife Sharon. I use her for so many good, good content, if you will, for the things that she has. But her father is somewhat a challenging guy for her, and he's kind of a rough, tough guy, and doesn't, show too much heart. And he's in D.C., and so he's mainly just involved in tasks. And so we learned, in Success Unit 2 on the power of understanding on how people are. And the fact is that everybody can be alpha to the omega, that no matter what their behaviors are and how you can talk to them and talk their language through the way that they're motivated, and that may be different than yours, that the fact is that you can call forth anything out of anybody as far as positive aspects that you're looking for them. And so your committee prevents you from that, though. Your committee, if you allow it, that your committee, your fear and worry and doubt and complaining and blame and shame and guilt, all that stuff, like your past it's just all awesome, because it put you right in this moment, right now, where you're thinking about your magnificent self and how you're going to create the type of life that you have, that you're going to release the beliefs that no longer serve you, that you're going to build new beliefs. And so everything that happened in the past, you should just appreciate and be so proud of, because it got you right here. So just no longer do you think, the only thing I want you to think about in the past, which a lot of the committee members are in the past, is about the good stuff that happened and about the good momentum that you have on, hey, I did sell that house, I did close that house, I was able to do this, I was able to get this. That just look for the good and start building yourself up, because you were born worthy. That most of us were told we were born sinners. We're not sinners, we're born worthy. That's all just, really, it's nonsense. Again, sin is just a word meaning I'm thinking wrong. And so this is helping you to start thinking right now about the things that you want. You're a deliberate, now being a top performer, you're a deliberate creator, and you want to create the things that you desire. Church, and again, the church that, they have, they're doing a special on the cosmos of the universe, and looking into that. And the church would when they found different pieces of the Bible or whatever, discovered other areas of the universe that they literally killed people for their beliefs about what the reality, quote unquote, the reality, or the things that are out there on. And that and again, if you there's wonderful churches. If you look for the good in it, great. But like, for example, I coach with a lot of recovering Catholics that are so filled with guilt and shame, and I help them out of that. Now, they can still be a Catholic or whatever, but you have to find the good in everything. There is good. In all of these areas, there is good, but you have to look for the good. And then seek that good, and as you seek that good, then you'll get it. And one question that I want you to get clear on yourself is, and I'd write this down, is I want you to ask every day, I want to know what I want. And as you start resonating with that, you're going to start realizing that you're going to get more ideas, and Source is going to give you more idea to understand your full intention, and to help you to have that easy, good, fun, happy, prosperous, healthy life that you're seeking, that you'll get it, and you'll be guided to it. So an incredible question to ask, and you will, and as you just take time to slow down, like this operation of mine took time for me to slow down and to create even greater things, because I invested more time just thinking about what will be, what I want, and what pleases me. And then school, and again, school has, taught different things throughout the ages, that the truth keeps on changing, if you will. In fact, all of this, that people just identify if this is their truth, that then they'll go ahead and prove it, and you'll see it, and you start believing it's reality. And the only reality, remember, you don't face reality ever anymore. You create reality. And I'd write that down. I don't face reality. I create reality. But people have told you in one form or another that you better face reality. And the fact is, there's no way in hell I'm facing reality. I'm going to create the reality that I want. And then our friends, and our friends have an influence. This alcoholic I was sharing with you has a big influence with his friend. Oh, but my friends, you know, they won't like me and everything. I said, listen, they're not your friends then. I mean, I've been there where I've had all these friends and millions of dollars, $1 million home and all that stuff. When I got into a car accident and broke my neck, which I created because I was actually unhappy in that. I didn't realize that at the time, but unhappy in my life, that I realized on these friends that I ended up with like 2 or 3 friends, okay, out of all the hundreds of friends that I had. And so, you know, who are really your friends? That your greatest friend is your inner being, and the kingdom is within you. And so just start talking to your inner being that has lived all these lifetimes and knows your full intent and is guiding you all the time. So the most important relationship you can ever have is with your inner being, and then your family. And the influence of family is just incredible on us, that we have observed the vibration when we couldn't understand English or Spanish or whatever, that our family has influenced us so much so that you don't even understand what your beliefs are. So another good question to ask with this specific topic is, what are the beliefs that serve me? And so ask that, and you will be given answers. Just right now, ask yourself, what are the beliefs that serve me? And you'll see some amazing, amazing things. So we're going to take a 3-minute break here. So take a break. And we'll be back, and I have about 11:27, so at 11:30. So 3-minute break, and then we're going to talk about where the truth is, about the 5 steps of the process, and where beliefs would fit in those 5 steps of creating whatever you want. And then we're going to go to review the conversation that you have with your referral partners. So take 2, take 3. All righty. So we are back, and and so hasn't this just been amazing? Like, you know, just on a review of this, that wow, our beliefs are just thoughts that we've kept on thinking, and then we've seen proof of it in our reality or other people's reality, and that we can make up any belief that we want. And so now we're going to, and there's momentum that happens, that you create the momentum. And whenever you have positive momentum, that I want you to milk it. And so just think about milking that momentum, getting that momentum. Whenever you have positive momentum, stay in that place and just milk it for as long as you can. Because the more and more, that puts you in a state of allowing your good to come. Because there is only well-being that flows. For example, my operation, that no doctor, no anybody had influence over my healing, other than my source. There is well-being that flows to us, and that's just proof of that, who does the healing? It is God, and my source. And so who does, it creates all the things around me? It's my source. It's the same thing. All we have to do is allow it in. Our purpose here is to discover what we do and what pleases us, and birth those desires, and then to ask for it to come into our experience, and by us allowing it, it will. So, where is the truth? We miss one place to receive infinite knowledge in the truth, and you have the ability to tap into infinite knowledge. And it's just an amazing, there is this life force, this consciousness that is there. All those that have walked before us, you can literally tap into everything that there is, and that you have access, and just simply by asking. And so some people call this angels, consciousness, infinite intelligence, whatever. But you have that. And if you think, well, that's, maybe you think that's a little hokey, well, all you have to do is think about one thought, and where does that other thought come from? Where are you getting those other thoughts? And those are the cooperative components that surround your thoughts. So you initiate the thoughts, and then you are assisted to have either the momentum of what you don't want, or the momentum what you do want. I'm teaching you on how to really get that momentum and milk that momentum of what you do want. And so the truth lies within you. The kingdom lies within you. And by within you, that it is, again, getting into this quiet state, doing this joy shop, on pre-paving. Like, are you deliberately pre-paving when you are right before you get in the car? Do you pre-pave and say, this is how I want it? I want to have smooth traffic, that I want to have fun in my drive. I want it to be easy and flow powerfully, and I want to be safe. And then before you get to your appointment, do you pre-pave it on how you want it to be? Because if you don't, someone else will. And they pre-paved however it'll be, and it'll be however that is. But as you tap into this good, it's good for everybody. And that's why you need to understand that as you pave your path downstream, where all your desires are, it uplifts everyone. And that you are looked at, you're the light, if you will, and that people just say, gosh, I just love that. So as you thrive, the world thrives. And so to be concerned about what other people are thinking, or what about their desires or whatever, has nothing to do with your experience. Your experience is to tap into your truth and to declare the way that you want it. So again, this question of, I want to know what I want. And so it's just a great way to understand the truth of what you want. And again, by you identifying your path, it will lighten everyone else's path as well. And then you shall be answered and know your truth. And so be patient with this, that know it's coming. Because if you use doubt, that is not belief, the opposite of belief. And so you can't be doubting and saying, well, where's my stuff? So most of you have had just amazing results. Again, the biggest one we had so far was $3 million just this week by one person. And so that's just, incredible. And we've had, I don't know, like 15 different new referrals and referral partners, and just, all this magnificent, powerful creations that have occurred. And if you're not one of them, don't be concerned with it. You don't have to say, well, they're the lucky ones, or they're fortunate, or it can't happen to me. That those are all things that will keep you from what you want. Just know it's all coming to you. And when you ask, you know that it's in energy form by your source. And as you start believing, that you'll then start experiencing it and seeing it in form in your life. And so how to create what you want. And again, we saw this in my seminar, for most of you that were in my seminar. But now this is going to start making more sense to you, because you have a more depth understanding on how life works. So we have been told, ask and you shall receive. And what is this asking? This asking is about your thought about what you want and why you want it. For you to create the energy on any subject of any desire that you have to think about it for at least a minute. Otherwise, it doesn't create the energy. That's why if you tell somebody to go to hell, they don't go to hell per se, because, you weren't on there. But if you start thinking like that person I really don't like at all, and you just can't get that person off your mind and how much you don't like that you're creating a path of least resistance and momentum to something that you do not want. Don't think about that person. And if it's so bad where you can't think about that circumstance or that person or whatever, go take a nap, go take a walk, go have sex, go do something that gets your mind off of the things that you don't want. But in most cases, you'll be able to put on and simply say, this is what I don't want. What do I want? And as you think of the thought of what I do want, you will give cooperative components. It's called the law of attraction. It's the most powerful law there is. It works all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. What you think about, you get, whether you want it or not. And so you got to be thinking, if you want what you want, you got to be thinking about what you want, and so and about the things that please you and the things you appreciate. And that's why in the Joy Shop it's so critical that the Joy Shop is where you create your life. So if you're not doing it every day, or if you're not enjoying it, it's like a task. Oh, Dr. Hank's making me do this dumb thing. Then it's not going to work. And then forget that and just get a journal and just start writing. Maybe, hey, what happened good in the last 24 hours? But what I'd like you to encourage you to do, and if you need help with that, let me know, and I can send you a different Joy Shop if you want. But there's ways. There's always solutions to everything. But your Joy Shop is this time when you take to create and identify what you want. Because if you don't ask, you can't get it. And so this critical time in this by asking, and step one is your thought that in the Joy Shop, remember there's 3 things to do in that Joy Shop. Write down your desires. What do I want? So I want to, and you can continue to rewrite them all the time. It'll release resistance and release those old beliefs that no longer serve you. So, I want to live, and I would write this down, that because all of us, I want to live a long, happy, healthy, prosperous life. And then you keep on saying that to yourself, and there are infinite number of examples of people that have started saying something to themselves about, and that's where affirmations and visualizations come in, techniques in order to do this step one. And so if you can't do affirmations if you're not feeling good, and that's why the Joy Shop takes you to the place where it raises you up, you're feeling good, and then you write down what you desire, what you want, and then what you appreciate in the last 24 hours, because by you automatically, when you start saying what you appreciate, it's telling the universe, I want more of it, and you will get more of it. So if you got referrals, if you got $3 million worth of business this week, that you just say, oh, I just love that $3 million of business this week. I love out of the blue how 3 buyers come out of the blue. I just enjoy all this money. I enjoy that I'm going to have just an amazing summer. As you start saying those things, it's only possible, if you don't have any conflicting thoughts, it's only possible to have that. You are the creator of your experience. And so that's why this step number 1, it starts all of creation. And remember, I shared with you that all of science now has recognized this is where all creation starts from. Okay, it's not from some other thing or whatever. Then it's from you and your thought, and then you co-create that with your source. And so step 2 then is your emotions. So automatically it's a no-brainer. You don't have to do anything about this. As you have good feeling thoughts, that you start feeling good, and that is your signal out to the universe, out to your source on what you want. And that's why you need to have it at least a minute in order to generate that signal and that energy, because we are energy. We're vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe, and so we need to create that energy, and that energy we call as humans emotion. And from that emotion, then our source answers and does the how. That's why you never have to ask yourself again on how will I do this. It's what I want, why I want, and then feeling good about it and just expecting it to come in. And now here is where the beliefs and where number 4 comes in is that you want to do what I call ABE. You want to allow it, believe it, and expect it. And so by and so this is where belief comes in, that you have beliefs that have restricted you from receiving what you wanted. And that's the light bulb going off right now in your mind, is to understand on, oh my gosh, I have asked for this stuff. I haven't received it because you only need to do step 1 and step 4. And step 4, you have been brought up, you have accepted the truths of other people instead of your own truth on what you want, what pleases you, and it has prevented you from receiving what you want. And so, like, that's just the aha of, oh my gosh, this is so simple. And now you know the technique on how your beliefs, on how you change your beliefs, is you just get positive momentum going on whatever subjects on the things that you want. So when it's business, you no longer have a belief that, gee, I got to work hard, that I now have the belief on that I'm the creator of my experience. And I just am going to think about what I want, why I want it, and I'm going to create the energy for source to answer, have it in energy form. And as I then believe it, that I then manifest it into my life. And so a great affirmation, and 2 techniques again to use are to help to change your beliefs, are affirmations. I am are the 2 most powerful words you can use, and whatever after that is what you become. And so I know one guy that said, I am a genius, and he literally created he's an engineer, and he just would say every day, I've known him since high school, that I am a genius, and he was a goofy guy, and we called him Charlie Olds, and he was just something else. But every day he said to himself he's a genius, and he created a bread thing for bread that he literally became a millionaire overnight. And it happened about a year ago, and so that was like, he's been doing it for like 40 years. You don't have to wait 40 years. You can do this right now. You can just say, I'm going to give up all of that stuff and what I don't believe. So one of your assignments this week is, your success steps is to look at what beliefs no longer serve me. And so if you believe, oh, you know, I can't have millions of dollars, that's other people, or I'm too old, or I'm a girl, or, you know, whatever you're thinking about that's preventing you, that just release those beliefs and start getting focused, the affirmation on, I am a magnificent manifester. Okay, so there's one, that's a great affirmation. I am a magnificent manifester. What I think about, I get. That, you know, just some things about it, starting to believe that I am worthy. I am worthy is another great one. And then visualizing and seeing in your mind that end result, that number 5, that manifest and that receive, by you thinking about it and then feeling it, that it'll flow right through, because you are then in a state of expectation, which is a state of belief. And so as you paint a picture in your mind of the things that you want, that you see yourself this summer just having a rocking summer and looking at your checking account and having over $100,000 in your checking account, you just smile, you just love it. And as you just believe that, without any things like, well, how am I going to get 100,000, or how's that going to happen, or whatever, and you just allow it in, that you'll go right in and become a master at manifesting. So I am a master at manifesting, and I think that's it. That's the one there that I'm writing it down. I am a master at manifesting, and you write that down, and it'll just start internalizing into you and incorporating into you so you can receive. And now you see steps 1 through 5 on how incredible that they are, and that this is how life works. You've already demonstrated on that, wow, I started thinking about it, and what I have done and what this process has done is it has consumed you and immersed you into these thoughts about what you want that slid you right into number 5, which is you manifesting it. So it's incredible, and congratulations. And the good news is it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better now for you. And just embrace that and know that this is so rocking that things are only going to get better for me now. So those 5 steps, 1 and 4, is all you need. And so today we looked at number 4 on how you can now just release those old beliefs and start that positive momentum and that path of least resistance to all that you want. So the path to your beliefs, you were taught others' beliefs that they created, and then you created this into your belief. And so that's only where it came from. The sky's the limit for you. There are no limits. There are no boundaries for you. The only boundaries that there have been are your beliefs. And your beliefs create your reality. You can have any type of life that you want. And the most important thing you want to do is be easy on yourself and to feel good. And that feeling good is the number 1 technique in order to do that step 4, to allow, to dissolve those other beliefs and just allow the well-being that already flows to you night and day, never stops, never will. But you have the power through your thoughts to cut it off, not completely, but to partially or mainly cut it off. And what you want to do is, hey, I'm going to feel good, and I'm going to turn the faucet on high, and I'm going to just allow the goodness to flow now through me and to me. And I create my reality through my beliefs, and my beliefs are just practiced thought. So you just have to do on step 1 is start practicing the thoughts of what you want. You can't be saying, I can't have this, or I have this obstacle, or, times are rough, or my past, or whatever. Those things, just have them go away. And you just start thinking of, I am a master at manifesting, that I create my own reality, that it's all up to me, that no one can impact me and my feelings and my thoughts other than me. And so I now rise above all that, and my point of attraction is increasing more and more to everything that I want. And so I now practice the thoughts of what I want to be, do, and have in my life. And my dear friends, that the only thing that can come from you just thinking thoughts of what you want to be, do, and have in your life is to receive those. That it's only possible to get what you're thinking about. And so when contrast comes, you don't think about it other than, this is what I don't want. It's kind of like you're at a buffet. And so you look at the buffet, and you don't go to spinach and start talking about how bad the spinach is and Facebooking about it and, whatever, but most people, in fact, do that they complain and are talking about the spinach, where you just go, I don't like the spinach, and move on and go to what you want. I'm going to go to the dessert, and I'm going to go have an apple pie or whatever, and that's all. I love yogurt, and so that's what you do, is you just start recognizing, I'm just going to go to where it pleases me, what makes me feel good. And that's the opposite of what you've been told. What your belief is that you're supposed to go where the struggle is, and you're supposed to fix problems and all this, and just forget all that stuff. That's not it anymore. That you're just going to practice thoughts of what I want to be, do, and have in my life. And as you just start getting lost, like you've been told too when you were a child, don't daydream. That's where you create everything. Okay, that's in essence a joy shop. That I want you to start daydreaming as much as you can about what will be, all the good things that you want to be, do, and have, and they will come to you. So hallelujah for that, that you have control over all of this. So now we're going to move into uh, our ideal referral partnerships, and just finish up with that as a reminder. So the magic bullet, if you will, for business, and again, I shared, earlier on how we have this $1 million agent now making more money than they ever have, and the number one, the magic bullet is referral partners, and they just, in fact, were with the co-founder of Netflix, showing them a home, multi-million-dollar home that, how do they attract this into their life? Well, it's them thinking about, hey, I'm going to start selling luxury homes, and I love selling them. We have one person on the phone that has, this week, picked up a $1.2 million a transaction and a $1.7 million transaction. I mean, that's just incredible, okay? And then another one for $350 or so, $292,000. And hey, that's all fun. We'll take it all. We just love that. But boy, what do I prefer? I prefer $1 million luxury homes. Anyways, that's exactly what this person did, and it's all through referral partnerships. So the importance for you to identify and ask to have attracted into you. So you'll get a thought all of a sudden of, hey, why don't I call that person? So I want you to be thinking right now about who's another person that I can contact that will become my ideal referral partner. Who do I like? Who likes me? Who's had experience with me? Who's well connected? Who does my hair? Who do I write checks to? Just think about those. Who's my family members? Who's my friends? And just be thinking, and I'm telling you, it's right under your nose. I've worked with some people for literally 3-4 years, and then all of a sudden, someone they remember that they've known for, 6 years, 10 years, that all of a sudden it's right under their nose, and they become just this magical referral partner, and that's what you're looking for, the ideal referral partner. So when you attract that, so now just identify, and right now, just write down somebody's name on who you want, and then start thinking about, okay, with my ideal referral partner, what am I going to do? I'm going to call them up, and I'm going to ask them if they'd help me. And that they'll say, sure. And you prepave this. You prepave this, just a delightful meeting. You say, well, I'd like to talk to you about it. And if they ask you what it's about, is that you'd like to help them with your business. And that they have the power, everybody has the power to help you with the business, because everybody knows at least like 200 people, and that 12 people out of 100 people are looking to buy or sell a home. So every person knows about 24 people that are ready to buy or sell a home. So you need to change your beliefs about all of this. Like, you have a belief, most of you have a belief, that if I ask for a referral, I'm the only one that wins and benefits, and that's not the truth. The truth is, who really benefits the most is the person that's giving you the referral. Why? Because they are now helping and building deep, meaningful relationships, which is way more powerful than any money could buy, or any whatever could buy. So it makes them feel good. You put them in a position to help another person, and that other person is you. You just, for the most part, haven't felt worthy enough to be that other person. And I want you to be that other person and be worthy and say, yeah, I deserve this. So with then that ideal referral partner that says, you got it, love to meet with you, can't wait for it. And then at that meeting, how does it go? And you ask for help. And you say, hey, I'd like to help you. I need your help. And then what you do is you share your goal. So thank you so much for being willing to help me. My goal is I'd like to help 5 families every month with their real estate needs, with buying or selling their home. And then from there, you need to share your ideal client. So I'm looking for people. So whoever you're looking for, it doesn't matter. They're gonna get you what you want, as long as you allow it and don't have these other beliefs that are resistant thoughts to your own good and to what you want. Because you're just making this whole thing up. It's all made up. Your whole experience was made up for you. So why not make it up the way you want it? And that's what we're doing. And, that's what's so incredible about this. It's so incredible about you that you can just make it up the way you want it. So let go of those resistant thoughts and start having those beliefs and going downstream and to have the path of least resistance. And so you share your ideal client. And my ideal client is that they are interested in buying or selling a luxury home. and that they're well qualified, they have good credit, and your referral partner may not know all of that, but they'll know if they have money, and they'll have a good idea whether or not they spend beyond their means or whatever. And so just say, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Who is cooperative, or good people who will take my counsel, and who are motivated and motivated to buy or sell. And so now you give them a picture of who you're looking for, and that helps them in order to attract into their minds your ideal client. And then once they come up with that ideal client, you don't, at that discussion, expect, okay, it's all about your expectation. So if you expect that they're going to give you a referral, they're going to have a referral for you, for your ideal client, that they will. You make it all up. Okay, it has nothing to do with them and who they are and, whatever. It has to do with you and what you believe is going to happen and what you expect is going to happen. And so ask for that personal introduction. And so what that is that's where they actually call them. And they say, hey, I know, Paula, for example, that I know Paula. She's just an awesome real estate agent, and that I know you were interested in selling your home. Are you still interested in that? They say yes. Would you like Paula to contact me? You bet. And then what happens is that Paula then holds them accountable. And so what that is that what you do, who you're holding accountable, is your referral partner. So basically you say, well, would you mind contacting them? And if they can contact them right then, do it right then. If not, and they say, hey, they're out of town and be back in a couple of days, great. Could I call you on Monday? And that's holding that accountability. Call you on Monday. Then you call them on Monday and say, hey, how'd the discussion go with that person that wanted to sell their home? And so then they know that you mean business, that you are serious, that you make your commitments, and you said you'd call them Monday, and you did. So it shows what a professional you are also, and then actually then get the referral at that time. So holding them accountable, getting that referral, getting the person's name and number, and then you call them and say, hey, and this is Paula, and my ideal referral partner, Bill, suggested I give you a call. And you will be out of the selling mode and into the service mode. You don't have to sell yourself anymore because they already trust your referral partner. And so it's a third party giving you a recommendation, so they trust you, and you can be in the mode of service and really providing those people and selling their house quickly and then getting them into the new home of their dreams. So you now not only have your dreams start coming true, but you also help others as you thrive to have their dreams come true. And then finally, with ideal partnerships, that you want to see them every 2 weeks. It's a very formalized process where you see them every 2 weeks. When you come up to about 10 referral partners, then you'll have all the business you want, and you make 6 or 7 figures, and you'll work about 4 hours per day. So that's how powerful ideal referral partnerships are. And finally, your success steps. I'm going to send you Success Unit 3, Believe in Your Success, and I want you to listen to it at least 6 times. I also want you, I'm going to be sending you the action steps page, and you'll have that to complete, and that'll just help internalize this information and help you to be in a state of believing in you and your good and your desires. I'd like you to meet with at least one new ideal referral partner this week. I'd like you to listen to this recording until you believe it. So some of the ideas that I shared with you that you have a little resistance to, and that the more that you listen to this, and usually 6 times is when people start accepting new ideas. So if it didn't all flow, but I know it has all touched your hearts and minds and souls, and that you've started to recognize and remember the magnificent, brilliant creator that you are. Make sure that you do your joy shop every morning, because this is where you create the life of your dreams, and contact me with any help that you may need. You guys, I love you. So proud of you. Can't wait to hear from you about the other amazing new things that you've created in your life. And just let your dreams come true and release those old beliefs that don't serve you. Identify those beliefs and create new beliefs that serve you, and create the path of least resistance, your lighted path to all of the things that you want. Love you guys. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.